Oh, meeting the parents.
Oh, Lord.
It's Thanksgiving week, and a lot of you guys are meeting his parents, or he's meeting yours. I'm not sure which is worse.
Which is worse? Scary. They're both scary.
I always break up right before they're about to meet my parents, and I'm starting to think that it's not a coincidence.
It's not a coincidence.
See, I do it every single time. It doesn't matter. I'll bring the mailman home.
Obviously, I introduced my ex-fiance to my parents, obviously. They were crazy about him, and when I broke up with him, they were more devastated than I was. In fact, they cried, and I am not joking. So for the next boyfriend, the poor next boyfriend, who was Alex, who was unbelievable, they hated him. They tend to treat my boyfriends differently depending on the last guy I dated. So if they hated the last guy,
they're so like breath of fresh air.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm sure that anybody brought home was presentable.
No. No, it was like Trust Fund James in college. My parents did not like him. Because he was like, ooh. I was trying to come up with a list of tips for what you should do when you meet his parents. And the first one I thought of was wear a turtleneck. You can never go wrong with a turtleneck.
Really? That's your advice? Wear a turtleneck?
I've seen you in a turtleneck.
This is why I have them. They're in my closet waiting for a boyfriend to ask me home.
Tell me there are more tips besides turtlenecks.
There are.
Yeah, let's hear some more.
That's it. That's all I got. Okay, guys, wear Oxford, wear a tie. Wear a tie. See, seriously, wear a tie. I don't know. Wear a belt.
That is so brown-nosing, like
whatever. Brown-nosing is completely appropriate when it comes to his parents.
Actually, with my dad, it would totally work.
That's exactly.
I know. It would work with my dad too.
Right.
It would work.
Okay, so the next tip is bring them a gift. And this sounds really obvious, but
definitely. I do that every single time I meet the family.
See,
I make sure, it doesn't matter, I make sure
them?
I either bring them flowers, I bring them something. If there wasn't a time where I couldn't buy them something, then I end up sending something later on.
You're good. Yeah. Some of these things sound a little bit obvious, and I will give you that, but I think it's really good to remember them. Like, be excessively and gratuitously polite.
That means even though, you know, the mother is the hostess of the house, you should still offer to clean up the dishes from the table.
When I bring a guy home and if she's working around the house and like working in the kitchen after she's cooked and he doesn't offer, she's like, forget it.
The next tip is do your homework, and this goes both ways. This is ask him about his parents and make sure that you find out all about them, every single thing. So this helps you to avoid topics that you don't want to go down.
Or things that you can at least remember. You don't have to know everything, but just topics that you have in common, those are good ones to know.
I used to in college when I was dating a bunch of guys at the same time.
Like a study
I
guide
had
or
note cards.
something.
I had note cards.
No.
I
should Wikipedia them probably.
No, I had note cards and I would record their siblings and the ages and the parents and the occupations. So I would have, you know, like this. You're the one who knows your parents obviously better than anyone else. And I always give my dates a cheat sheet. Don't say this. Do say this.
You know what,
do mention, you know.
The guys that I have dated, I would like to think that they could stand on their own 2 feet if they know a few things about my parents. And when I've told them things that are just do this, don't do this, they kind of get a little standoffish, like, you know what, I'm just going to go in and be myself and that's all I can do.
No, I don't think you should be yourself.
This week on WePCTV.
How have computers changed the recording industry and your job?
The fact that people can make records on their own is huge. It's definitely opened up the possibilities.
WePCTV is brought to you by ASUS and Intel. You dream it, ASUS builds it, Intel inside it.
Need to know what political party they're affiliated with.
Just don't. Don't even talk politics.
But here's the thing though, it comes up, and a lot of parents, like, for example, my grandmother will go in and be like, so, are you a Republican? And the answer can only be yes. I mean, there is no other answer for my grandmother.
You should not lie. You should say, I would rather not talk about my political affiliation at that point if you are a Democrat.
Or you can say, I believe in democracy.
Because you know what? If you lie to the grandmother, that's even worse.
Oh, well, I don't know.
You lied to people's grandmothers.
No, I'm just
saying
it's not such a bad idea to lie to grandmother.
You lied. What you want to do is let them do the talking. And if they ask you questions, answer honestly, be yourself, but most importantly, listen to them because, you know, everybody just wants to be heard, and that's the way that you'll be most impressive.
Well, and you can't get in trouble for what they say.
It's
No.
Theoretically.
Well, it's true.
Although I'm sure I could find a way.
It's true, but they will.
You made me talk about my
You know-
colonoscopy.
But you know how much parents and grandparents love telling their own stories.
Get
It's
them
true.
to
So
tell
let
stories.
them tell their stories, and I promise you that will be the most impressive thing you do the whole holiday.
Yeah. And speaking of stories, we want to hear your stories, especially horror stories, because those are really fun.
Those are
so
best.
much fun.
And if you have any advice for us about how to handle dealing with his parents when you meet them for the first time, or how to handle him meeting your parents for the first time, leave them right here below.
See you later on Wednesday, where I will be talking about how to handle Thanksgiving, specifically that damn turkey.
Bye. Bye. I actually sent my high school boyfriend a care package filled with, like, as a joke, sex stuff, and his parents intercepted it.
Ooh.
And let me tell you, to this day,
How
10
old were
years
they?
later, they haven't forgotten.
How old were you when you did that?
16.
Of course.
Oh.